Hello everyone, welcome to the Power BI video lecture, where we will delve into the essentials of data visualization using this powerful tool. I'm Christy, and in the next 30 minutes, we will explore the key features of Power BI, demonstrating how to transform raw data into insightful visualizations. And as we know, the data is something that is very essential in our day to day life. We collect a lot of data from various sources, but it is used by managers or the organization structure where only this data is converted into something useful. That's what we call it as business intelligence. That's what Power BI, as you know, Power BI is a visualization tool developed by Microsoft, and it will provide meaningful visualizations and business intelligence to organizations, and it has many features which we will go through later on. First of all, we are going for a hands-on Power BI tutorial where we will walk through essential steps of connecting your data source, importing data, organizing it for effective analysis, and let's jump into the world of Power BI. You can see this is the Power BI desktop versions where you can learn, and there is online versions which is essentially similar, but it's always better to start with desktop versions which has as the features, and you can publish it, and everything is available in the desktop version itself. So as I said, data is the most important thing in a visualization. So first of all, let's learn how we can import. We can go through mm, different sources of data, but for the tutorial purpose and learning purpose, let's keep it simple so we can learn the basic stuff and then go into the in-depth. So right now for this example, I'm importing a data from Excel which is already stored in my system. So you have a link, import data from Excel, and we will be clicking it, and it will show the files for folders in your computer. Just normally how we select a data, here the data is stored in PBI data folder, and we just select it and we open it. Now the data will get loaded into our Power BI environment, and now we can see it in a Power Query mode. So what is it now? This navigator will open. We should always select the tables. So CRPOS is the data I have selected. Okay, now the preview is evaluating and what it is, and we need to transform the data and load the data. Those steps we can see how we are doing it. So now I'm just clicking the load. So there are the data is loaded, and you can apply the changes, evaluating the data, creating the connection model, and everything is automatically created. You can, once it is done and everything is clear, you can see the data in your data pad. The data always have 1000 rows, and it is actually loaded. We can speak little about the data the time being. Now see, you can see the table is actually loaded with all the data informations and everything. Now there are certain problems with this data. Problems means the certain formats are not right. Date is summation format, so we need to format it. So first let's learn how we handle the data. So to handle the data, what we have is we have to transform the data. So how we will transform? You have transform data button over here. Hope you can see transform data. This will connect to a Power Query editor. To in the Power Query editor, as you can see, there will be buttons, and we can actually do different kinds of things and change the format, arrange the format, and know what it is. Now our data is opened on the Power Query editor. See, you can see what are the applied steps over here. First, it is the source is created navigation promoter header, and it has automatically changed some types. So row ID is 123, and we have POS ID, point of sales ID, it's there, and date. As you can see, date is not on a proper format. What we can do is that we can transform the date. What we have to do, we have to select the data, and what we have, the purpose is, it's a data type is whole number, but we know the what we need is not a whole number, we need a data format as date. So replace the current. Now we can see it is replaced with the date information. Okay, so there are almost 1000 rows, so the corresponding date is created. So the change type is actually done. Then we have timings of this data, and this we can give it to only times. We don't need the date because it's recurrent. Already date information is there. So what we can do is that we just need only the time over here. So again, I have done a change as time information is changed by the other thing. Now what we have to do is that when we done the changes, we have typed the created the changes, if there are some data is missing or anything, everything can be done on this Power Query editor. Now what we can do is that we have to apply these changes. That's most important. Before we close and apply, we have to apply the changes. Then we can close it, or we can actually keep it over here, because we can have a reference in the future model also. Just so I'm just keeping it down. So now if you can see, the data is changed. See, before the transformation, this date was not this thing. There was a summation query. That data was a whole number. The whole number data we cannot analyze. Date has to be on a date format itself. So now the next thing I would like to do is that just say giving a name, just POS report. That point of sale, we are going to create a report on what are the things in POS. So let me first explain something about the data also. There is the data contains this kind of information. If we go through the data, it's just raw ID, which is a unique thing, and then we have POS ID. It means a particular customer. 1245 is a customer. He actually purchased 3 times, and each item is already loaded. So he made a purchase on citrus fruits, coffee, fish, sausages, like that. And on particular day, what was the weather conditions? It's just a dummy data to show how these visualizations work. So this data includes informations of different items and different weather conditions, and how does this weather conditions related to the purchase of the things, how many items are purchased, on which weather conditions we more purchase is done. That kind of information we can get and analyze from this particular data. So this is the nature of the data, let it be there. So to start our visualizations, if we go through this, we can just hover over the icon. It will give the name stacked bar chart, stacked column chart, clustered bar chart, and clustered column chart, and like that pie charts, and you have donut charts, and these kind of informations are readily available, and we can actually connect Power BI through Power Apps as well as to Power Automate. We can create the flows and like that. And so to first start, we can do something like a scorecard. So what is a scorecard? What we meant by the normal scorecard? Okay. we have a scorecard is there is some information that we have to aggregate it. We can say it is one of the key performance indices, so KPIs, that what is most important thing. So right now let me say one of my most important thing is I need how many items are actually sold on by this shop or a customer. So what is we have to see, I need a field where we have to, I need the count of items. So it's pretty simple. You select the item over here. I will do it once again. So I have dragged a scorecard over here, and then I selected the item, and then over the fields, actually, if you can see, remove the field, remove for this visual, first, last. So if we click the last, yogurt is the last item, vegetables is the first item, we can have a count. And we can, if I need, it's actually total sales. If we need a distinct number of items, there are only 47 distinct items in that particular stop. Distinct means it should be unique. So now let's keep it as count. So count of item means 222, means totally over the period of time there are 222 items has been sold by this particular shop. So that is what we call it as performance index or a scorecard, where we can create a single field and elaborate about it. So a single value which is quite um, important is kept over there. And now we have, this is where we add a visual, and if we have already selected this particular visual, which is this scorecard. Now what we can do is that we can have the values, and right now this is in the value is on a black color. We need to change the color of that information. 222 is changed to other colors, and right now this is the call out value is that. And now I can highlight it, I can put it on italics, change font, change the size. And then category label is what is written as, right now it is count of item. Okay, now I can turn off the category, so the that information won't be there. Now I can write like this. So here also I can change the font, change the color. Okay, and moving forward, the other formatting is general. Generally, what are the properties of this thing? What to learn all these things, it's always better you try it again and again. So we can add a title over there as a heading or something like that. So it's always better to learn in trial and error method. See, now the background color is white. I can give it to something like a gray to highlight it, or blue, or whatever the color I like. That's how we arrange that. And visual borders we can turn off, turn on, and we can come up with the rounded corners and like that. So all these options are there. It's actually pretty similar to most of the Microsoft tools, which as well, which we can learn through practice. To learn data visualization, the practice is pretty important, and we have to find what data, and we need to learn about different visuals. So we now learned about a particular visual, which is a scorecard. Now let's see, we can move on to another visuals which is used pretty common, and which is very easy to understand. And this is, you if you go through any reports, there will be some kind of data which puts on a formatted chart. Now on this thing, I can say that what all items, I will just select item on my x axis, and then weather conditions, because depending on the weather conditions and items, one second, it doesn't, okay. So this way I can do the focus mode. Count of weather conditions, and this thing, it doesn't gives any meaning. How actually we do this thing is count distinct. So we have five, this thing, one second, we can add a legend over here. Now I will explain it. It's not working. So actually what all data is uh, getting connected and how it is represented, it's only on a trial and error method. So if now I know that I need to create some sort of connections between items and weather conditions, and how it will be done. Let's see how we will reach to that point. Okay, so we were trying to get an idea about items and how it is related to weather conditions. So what I'm doing is that I have items in my x-axis, and in the y-axis I will put the count of items, and my legend is weather conditions. So let's see how this visualization works. It seems very clustered since we have a lot of items, but from this what we can understand is, since you can read this, the colors are over here, what we can just drag over here and we can find an information. If we select it, that the information is the item yogurt is on a weather condition sunshine, its count is 5 actually. So on a particular day how one item will perform, that information is actually over here from the coloring. That information is available for him. So there are canned beer or canned items are gone more on days with thunderstorms. Such kind of information is available. So this is how the data visualization is. This seems clustered now because there is a lot of items and their different weather conditions is there. But as we know, what we can easily understood when in the point of a manager is that we need to just find out what happens a particular day which has a particular weather conditions, and what is the situations. So we have the whole data and we need to drill down the data to a certain point. So how we do is that we have two concepts on this. Let's get introduced to one concept in this particular video, that is said to be slices. So just go back to the report. Now actually this information is a total data information. Now I am going to just create a slicer for the weather conditions. So right now I have a, sorry, that particular thing got overwritten. What we have to do is that we have to always select our sheet when we take the next visual. Now I choose slicer. Now I got the slicer over here, and how I need to show the slicer, those kind of informations will be. So add a data field. So I need this report to be drilled down to the factor of weather conditions. So right now I'm just putting my field is weather conditions. And if we take this visual and the slicer settings, there is vertical list, tile, or we can have a drop down menu, whatever we like. Right now if you look at this, let me increase the font little bit. Okay, and slicer header is weather conditions, and if I, the properties, size is there, padding is there. Okay, Okay, the value font, I would like to just increase it so for more visibility. Just that's it. Okay, so if you look it, we can see all these kind of all the options are there. Cloud blank, blank is there because there will be some values in the data where data won't be there. So I need to know what is my status on a day which has a thunderstorm. So if I click thunderstorm, so it is, you can see there is a very little amount of sale happened on thunderstorm days having thunderstorms, and we can actually see the items which is over here. The soda is sold just 2 3 items, the numbers are one, like that count of items are very little. But whereas we know what we can do is that just select another day, deselect it, and just select another day, sunshine. Now we have this information. Now in this video, let's get introduced to a new visual, which is we can say as a KPI. KPI, excuse. Okay, now let's see a new kind of visualization. The same as the bar chart itself, but on a different combination with respect to date, because the information regarding date, how a data, how the purchase is going on quarter wise, it's a very important info for a business decisions. So we can have this information in x-axis as a date, and we have the items as a in y-axis, and we can see the count of items. So if we see, it doesn't say anything, simply the fact is that this particular data contains only 1 year, that is 2023. So there are almost 202 items. Now how we can interpret this information? You can see we have a date hierarchy already established over here. What is a date hierarchy? Because it has the year information, quarter information, month information. If we look into x-axis, that is already done. What we have, 3 2 arrows here from which we can actually expand down to all the drill down. Click here to drill down. So I am going to just drill down my data. It is going to quarter one, January, and the days on the January. And if I need this information drill up, and I need this information everywhere on this thing, all this information, quarter one, what happens on the quarter one, and what is over here. So but my information, what I need is, most important data is how it is working on a date basis. So again, I need to drill down my data on a date basis. So now you can actually see something, that is, I can, my data is on January, and on quarter value is also there, and it is on 2023. Suppose I need to remove the particular information that is about the year. So now the year is not visible over here. What is, it is drilled down to quarter, month, and the day on which the sale is done. So the date, it's already Power BI provides a tool with date hierarchy. It is very useful in creating this business decisions and everything. And the date hierarchy wise proper, it is very good to learn about the information on a particular day. 27, what is the number of items sold, what is the sales, what aspect of sales is done, and we can actually change the items. Now just this particular example uses only the count of the items. We can change it to the name of the items, we can create the legend using the name of the items, like that. So if I, well, let's see what will happen if I add a legend over here. Since the number of items are too much, the legend is divided. But if we hover over it, this particular info is again available on a particular day. the previous graph showed on a particular weather conditions how much is on. This graph, this legend shows on a particular day what is that. And one of the most important features of this is actually once we create a table and see we have a lot of legends over here. If we want to see that data, just for our knowledge, there is an option to show as a table. So what happens is that your particular information on particular day, see if you January 15 the bottle was sold to, and all these information, since the data is we have to move on this particular thing. Okay, so it's a very clustered data. Let's see what if we move on legend item over here. Again, this is very easy data to inform. That's on January 15, 20 items were sold, 16, 21 was our sale. On a particular days, this was our sales. And if we need the legends to be weather conditions, so you can easily see this particular day is a sunshine day, January 15, and on that particular day, our sales was almost 20 high. And then go to January 17, that day comes with two types of weather conditions. Part of the day was cloudy, and the other one was rain, and these kind of it's visible. I have shown you the I just shown you the weather information just for your table information, just to understand it more clearly what this particular visualization means. Thank you. So we had to summarize the session. Today we went through what's Power BI and what we data visual, how to import the data, and about the Power Query Editor, how to transform the data, how to change the data on that. And after transforming data, we need to load it to and we have to apply the changes. And once our data is ready in the pan, we learn about different visualizations. Today we learned about basically three types of visualization. First one was the scorecard. It's a key performance indices. We just show what is a particular value on that. Then we went through the clustered bar charts, and the clustered bar charts come up with this feature, like we can put different informations on that. So one information we handle how the items are related to weather conditions, and the second information we handle how the count of items related to the date hierarchy is handled, the weather informations, and also we put up an extra legend that is weather conditions on this, so that on a particular day how much sales is done and that day which weather was the this information we can see in a single info over here. So if we go back to the report, so this is our final legend which shows the dates, and the colors indicate the weather conditions, and the values on the y-axis indicates the amount of sales that happened on a particular day. Thank you. Let's see in the next session with more visualizations and different features associated with each visualizations. Thank you everyone.